Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Big E is here. Shalom, Big E. King, how are you?
Hey, Holmes, I am well. You?
Yeah. I've been better.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Got a headache. I just gave you aspirin. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I've stressed. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't do well with stress. I don't handle stress like a big boy and a good boy does. I don't handle it well, and I don't know. I find myself, getting frustrated, and then I'm like, now I got a fucking headache. God damn it! And it doesn't, I don't know. I don't.
You just have to do a happy show then, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm happy. I don't bring any of my personal feelings into this show. Whatever. It's all good. No, the fact is what time is it now? 3:45.
Yes.
Is it 3:45 in the afternoon? And you have been here since 9:30?
Eastern Standard Time.
You have been here since 9:30 this morning, I believe.
So.
Yeah, and it's 3:45, and we're just starting the show.
Usually we start sooner.
Yeah, a little bit sooner than that. E has been here just about as long, and it's just one of those days, man. One of those days that is stressful and hard, and some of the behind the scenes shit that
business
nobody
side of shit that
that I'm so good at and love doing, and it's
just hard to do it all, man.
It is. It is. And people, I think people understand that, sort of. I come from a place that is, like, it is what it is. You just read your stories, and then you go do a show, and you have fun, and then you go home, and the rest of your day and week is yours. You know what I mean?
Somehow money comes in and money goes out,
yeah,
and you get paid.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, however you work all that bullshit out, great. I'm glad you do, and I'm thankful for it. It's just been so eye-opening the last few years about, like, just how
small businesses are tough.
Dude, it's really tough. I never realized how dealing with other people and other people's personalities and other people's issues and trying to be fair and see, where you're wrong, where you're right, if you're wrong, if you're right, like, all that shit is really heavy, and in the end, I'm just, it really makes it so worthwhile when you do a hot dog eating contest on a Sunday at noon
in July.
In July, when people have better shit to do, and they're busy and they've got family, and yet they still find a way to come out and support you, and
we have the greatest listeners on the planet, Mike.
I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it really
it's amazing.
It really means a lot. I've hosted events to absolute empty places before, and that's about the worst feeling you'll ever have when two people show up. Or I did one event in Lansing or Kalamazoo where I was broadcasting live with tickets to give away, T-shirts from a Payless shoe store, and they would shoot it to me. Yeah, how's it going out there, Mike? And I'm in this shoe store, and there's literally a mom and a sweet pie in there. It's like, it's going great. I'm like hiding behind a fucking rack of shoes, like, oh.
So you're doing like a remote?
Yes, dude. I'm wearing headphones. We got the van outside.
It's the Beagle.
We're doing a live shot. Send it out to Mike. He's on location, giving away some Verve Pipe tickets this afternoon. Let's see. Let's check in with him. And it's like, can you put a card on with like crowd noise behind you? And there's just like one mom, and I'm like, so are you enjoying your time at Payless Shoes? And she's like, yeah. Had to get some Buster Browns for the little one here. And it's like, okay, great. What do you know? She's our winner for Verve Pipe tickets today. Thanks for coming out. Here's a T-shirt and all my CDs I brought out.
Oh, man. So that gives you perspective, right?
It does. It gives me a lot of perspective that three guys out of a basement can generate.
2.5. Let's be fair.
Yeah, and really just two, because I'm only a half.
Let's be really fair.
And E's really only a half. I might even only be a quarter.
No, I'm counting you as a full.
So it's hard. It's hard, I guess, is my main point. We're thankful to everybody that has helped us along the way. You know who you are. Marissa's been great lately. She's been helping us with some sales stuff, and that's been you know, I look at the emails she sends and the report she puts together. It's like,
She's a pro, man.
this girl is a pro, and she's putting real fucking time and effort into this. And you know, you don't want to disappoint people. We don't want to disappoint the listeners. We don't want to disappoint the sponsors. We don't want to disappoint ourselves.
We take it all very seriously.
Yeah,
like,
and
you
it's-
know, everybody from the listener business page to our main show sponsors.
Yeah.
You and I from the beginning have put a ton of stress on ourselves. Like, oh, God, I hope somebody goes to Zot Ford, that first Zot read we did. You know, please
Yeah.
somebody go. You know,
It's been terrifying.
yeah.
That
I mean, we're-
feeling is. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. It's just we've had a lot of stress on ourselves in terms of wanting a return for everybody. We want this to
Yeah.
work for everybody.
And I think we where most people, you know, they want to pump themselves up and they want to, you know, here's what we can do for you, and they all have their great speech and they all can deliver the world. And we've been burned on a couple of those where, you know, someone's going to help us and they're great, and then it's like, okay, that was a waste of time, money, effort, everything. They delivered absolutely nothing of what they said, and we paid for it. But we've, I think, at times been guilty of almost undervaluing, like, just like fingers crossed, like, holy shit, we need this to work. You know, let's, undersay what we think we can perform, just because we honestly
'cause
are
we're-
thinking about each and every one of you that have dedicated time and money to us.
Well, in a lot of ways too, we've blazed our own trail a lot.
Yeah.
There's different ways that podcasts do this. We're a lone wolf.
Yeah.
We're eating what we're killing.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of other podcasts have jumped on with groups and kind of survived that way.
The other way we're a lone wolf, because we're certainly not the first to do a podcast, but most people that do a podcast do it irregularly, or even the ones that do it regularly, it's used as a vehicle, as aside from their real profession. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they're a stand-up comic or whatever, and then they do this, and it's like, if it generates something, it generates something. If not, whatever, it's fun. But we're like one of the few that are like, okay, we're trying to make a living and not do anything else but this.
Yeah, we believed we had a model, and we believe we do have a model. 5 days a week, we do the show. People like the show, and in response, they respond to our sponsors positively.
Yep.
And around we go, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So that's, but it's a challenge, you know, as you figure things out.
Yeah.
Because there really was no model for
Yeah.
what we were doing.
It's you're right, and we hope that's not lost on people. We we don't say it enough probably, but it's really important still, and always will be, that the sponsors feel the love. The members area has been great, has been a great help for us, and we
enjoy doing it. We're happy to do it.
But it's one of those things, like when I'm talking about, oh fuck, I have a headache now. We've been here for 9 hours, and we haven't even done the show yet. And it's because of all that. It's like the members area just doesn't happen. You spent, Jay, I mean, honestly, countless hours, almost single-handedly building that thing from nothing. You did that. I had almost nothing to do with that. E had almost nothing to do with that. But
That was fun.
yeah. It was a tremendous amount of
it's
work,
great.
but it's there one day, and it's like, oh, that's great, that's amazing. It's like, yeah, well, that took Jay 100 hours, like of work to do with Baird and behind the scenes and paying for that, and we're going, is anyone going to sign up for this? I don't know. Did Jay just spend 200 hours doing this? Did we just pay Baird all this money to help Jay do this? And nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And people responded, and that's great. But it's another one of those things. Like every step we fucking take is filled with just stress and pain. Where it's like, I don't know, I don't fucking know. Can we do a hot dog contest at 1 o'clock on a Sunday in the middle of fucking summer? Will anybody show up to that? I don't know. Fuck it. Let's see. Let's find out together if we all have egg on our face.
No, but it worked out, and around we go, right?
I
The listeners
know.
respond, and they respond
Yeah.
to sponsors, and sponsors respond to us, and everybody's hopefully happy, going forward, as long as the process works, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we don't say it enough or thank listeners enough for using our sponsors and helping us in that way. We've had people make enormous treks from far distances to use people.
Yeah.
And take great effort and go out of their way and spend a lot of time doing that, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we notice it. We know that you're doing that, and it's not lost on us, and it's very appreciated. It's keeping this thing afloat between the members area and Zotfords and the Kowalskis and the Brent Wasicks and the Mark Leibovitzes and Kyle Mayers and anyone else that the business Douglas, the listener business page that Jay got going himself again.
You want to know my next? Can I give a sneak peek?
Yeah.
We have the TDC bookstore coming.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here's what's going to happen. We talk about a lot of books, right? For example, Noel Monk's Van Halen book.
Sure.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a place on our website where after we talk about a book, we say, hey, you want to help out the show? You want to get a great book? Go to our bookstore, buy it through our Amazon link, and we'll benefit that way.
Yeah. We could put links to the interviews that we did with him, too.
We could.
I'm thinking, dude. Hold on. I want credit for that idea because no one had said it yet. It hadn't been tabled
It's
yet.
already been done.
Fuck.
It
Really?
just hasn't been made public on the website yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just have to.
See, he's even doing stuff I'm not even aware of. We're all learning this together, folks.
All I have to do is put in a bunch of biography, like summaries about the books, and then I'll launch this thing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but
that's great.
thank you to Eric Ellenbrook, who put in a lot of time doing that as well.
Yeah. There's so many. We could literally do a 2-hour show thanking everybody that's helped us. I don't think most of you want to hear us do that, so we won't. But you know who you are. You know who you are. Anyway, all right, I got that off my chest. I'm hopefully the aspirin you gave me will kick in here shortly, and my headache will go away.
What do we have today, Mike?
We got a lot. Turns out E was right about Detroit City FC, and we'll mention them really quick. And we finally hear word from Linkin Park. We'll get into that. I suppose we could talk about Michael Phelps and the shark.
Yeah.
I don't know.
As gimmicky gets.
Kid Rock, Senator Kid Rock. People saying don't sleep on that, and then and a lot of other stories too. We'll get so that's kind of a quick rundown of what we're going to do.
Before we get too far, Mike, we've all heard that SUVs are the hottest selling vehicles on the planet. As luck would have it, our friends at Zotford and Holly happen to be Metro Detroit's SUV headquarters with massive inventories and wickedly low prices. For example, lease a class-leading 17 Ford Escape for just $122 a month, or lease a family fun 17 Ford Edge at just $155 a month. Finally, lease the incredibly capable 17 Ford Explorer for $222 a month, only at Zotford and dealsinthed.com.
Go get one of those. You know what I want to get, dude, is one of those Explorers too.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's a little out of the budget right now, but
Yeah.
I was in Deuce drove it to the game, and he's got an Explorer. It's fucking, dude, I forgot how badass that
Rolling
ride is.
downtown with Deuced.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must have been fun.
Yeah, like the good old days.
I miss that son of a bitch.
I know. So I don't know. One of these days I'll go visit Gabara and make him hook me up with a good deal on one of those. Detroit City FC. I'm thinking I might go again this weekend, dude.
Yeah, dude. E was right. They do have
Yep.
a home game. Apparently, they put in a bid. I don't know
That's
how this
weird.
league works, but
Yeah.
they're like, hey, we'll host the next round of playoffs, and they won the bid. So they've
Yeah.
got, a 7:30 game on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know how this works because
It's a doubleheader.
Yeah, it's a doubleheader. So they're going to be the host site for the National Premier Soccer League Midwest Region playoffs. So we're the number 4 seed. That's us at Le Rouge, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got we'll take on number 2 Duluth FC in the semifinal at 8:00 at Keyworth Stadium on Friday. Number 1 AFC Ann Arbor and number 6 Dayton Dynamo will play in the first semifinal at 5:15. So
So the
what?
winners of the two games then play on Saturday at Keyworth.
Yeah, and
So
that
it could be a back-to-back Friday, Saturday City FC deal.
and that'll be at 7:30 in the evening on Saturday. So if you wanted to go to that, it's $10 admission. And that includes both semifinal rounds on Friday night, and or you can buy for $15 ones that are weekend passes, good for the final as well, which is kind of cool. If you want tickets, go to detcityfc.com, detcityfc.com. I don't know how you do that. Like, what if the Ann Arbor fans show up in droves, and then would you have to clear the stadium before the second game, or how does that all?
That's how they do it with doubleheaders in baseball, don't they? They clear it. But I don't think they'd care, honestly. Place like that.
Yeah.
I think they'd look at it like support for the league, like whatever. Hang around, watch the next game.
Yeah, maybe. But the next game is the home field for the home team. I would figure those fans, if you show up at 7 and it's like, holy shit, I can't get my normal seat. This is where I bang my drums.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they'll clear out that northern guard section.
Yeah.
Let those guys in.
Yeah, probably right. Well, that'll be a fun weekend.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully they have a good
I'm going to
show.
try to get down to Friday.
Are you?
Yeah.
Saturday's out.
We'll see.
Yeah. Linkin Park finally issues a statement.
Damn it, I'm
I
still
know.
pissed about that.
Have you found yourself listening to a lot of their music or
Fuck
watching
yes,
videos?
all the way over here.
Yeah. Last night?
Yeah, me and he sat here as we were posting the show, and he was mixing it up.
Yeah. What were the go-tos?
He had all those remixes.
I was
that
doing
they
the
did in, like,
Reanimation
02.
CD. Do you remember that or no? It was pretty much, what was it, Meteora was the
Yeah.
first one? It was pretty much that, but they did a whole remix CD of different, just remixes of those songs, and I always thought it was a really good.
He was DJing over here.
Version of
it.
I was working.
Sure.
You know.
Hey, you weren't complaining. I didn't hear you say stop.
I was not complaining.
Yeah, I found myself like in one of those YouTube loops, just watching
Yeah.
video after video, of In the End. And,
Chester.
yeah, it's tough, man. Anyways, I guess all they've said is suicide by hanging. I'm shocked we don't have more details. I'm
Yeah.
shocked we don't have more information about it. Was there a note left? Was there anything going on in his life at that moment? Like nothing.
Surprised there's less leaks in L.A. than there were in Detroit with Cornell. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, maybe that's the thing. They're used to leaks and handling them there, whereas here. Anyway, so the band issued a statement today on Twitter. Dear Chester, our hearts are broken. The shockwaves of grief and denial are still sweeping through our family. As we come to grips with what happened, you touched so many lives, maybe even more than you realized. In the past few days, we've seen an outpouring of love and support, both public and private, from around the world. Your wife, Talinda, and the family appreciate it and want the world to know that you were the best husband, son, and father. The family will never be whole without you. He had 6 kids,
Yeah.
from his 2 marriages. Talking with you about the years ahead together, your excitement was infectious. Your absence leaves a void that can never be filled. We're trying to remind ourselves that the demons who took you away from us were always part of the deal. After all, it was the way you sang about those demons that made everyone fall in love with you in the first place. You fearlessly put them on display, and in doing so, brought us together and taught us to be more human. You had the biggest heart and managed to wear it on your sleeve. Live Nation announced that they were, we talked about yesterday, canceling their tour. The bandmates added, the group's future is unknown. Our love for making and performing music is inextinguishable. While we don't know what path our future may take, we know that each of our lives was made better by you. Thank you for that gift. We love you and miss you all. Until we see you again, Linkin Park.
I'm just struck by, too, how impulsive this apparently was. I read something that he was in a carpool karaoke filming like the week before.
Yeah, and
You
I think that's
mentioned-
still going to air, too. It's
Really?
supposed to air in October.
You mentioned the host from MTV. His name escapes me
Matt
right now.
Pinfield.
Yeah, the conversation he had with him. Somebody else mentioned a tweet that he had from him the day before. It was like
He was apparently FaceTiming with friends and family like
Yeah,
normal, just days before or a day before.
Yeah, it just seems. I don't know.
About to start this big tour.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I know. It's why you want more details. Like, what the hell was going on here? Like,
Autoerotic? Do we go there?
nah, I don't know, man. I mean,
That'd be awfully coincidental on Chris Cornell's birthday.
yeah,
And,
that seemed very intentional
yeah,
and
it did.
and
but
making,
at the same
statement
time,
making.
impulsive. Like I said, because a week before, days before, he seemed to have these positive interactions.
Yeah, I wonder if it's possible. I mean, I suppose it is, but
Well,
is it possible to make such decisions like in a bout of extreme sadness one day,
Yeah,
where it's
I
like
suppose.
you're thinking about Cornell and the tour you're about to go on that he'll never do again, and like you can't take it, and then just like grab a fucking belt and
mix in a couple drugs, and that's
Yeah.
Cornell's wife's thing. Is he was not suicidal. He was taking some anti-anxiety, and that's what led
Yeah.
to this. So
Yeah.
maybe he's on the same path.
yeah, I don't know. I know for Chester,
Total
his
speculation.
Yeah, oh yeah, it all is, and that's what people do when you don't have information. You're left to go. This guy seemingly had everything. He's got the beautiful wife, the kids, the big house, the tour coming up. His sales are good. He's a fucking star, and it's easy to look at all that stuff and go, "What are you doing?" But
Isn't it something? Just another example of money doesn't solve everything. E and I were
Yeah.
talking about that last night off the
Yep.
air. Just example number 9 billion, right?
Yeah.
That
Money and success doesn't solve everything.
Money, success, fame
yeah,
can sometimes just exacerbate it.
yeah, it makes it worse. It can make it worse. And I often think back to like, when were you happiest in life? When was the funnest time in life? And I think back, and it's like maybe it's just youth, but it's like, you know what? I was never happier than when I was dead broke. Either returning returnables to buy beer with you guys, when we were younger, or even when I was in my career but wasn't making shit. It was like Fellhauer and I are trying to scrounge $400 together to pay rent, and we're
Vacuuming up ants.
vacuuming up ants, and we're just having a ball though. And you found a way to get, you always found a way to party. and it didn't matter, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think back to that. And it's like the more money I've made, the more miserable I've been. To be honest with you, not that I don't want to make money. Of course I do, but it wasn't something where wow, you had a great year, you made a ton of money. It's like, yeah, I was more miserable that year than any year I can remember.
I can attest to that,
dude. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. But you think about outside of like not worrying about your bills. There's just so much more stressful things in life, and trying to keep that perspective. And when you tie it in with Chester Bennington, when you think about if he's in that really dark place that day and his wife and kids are out of town, maybe that support that would normally be there to pick him up, they don't happen to be there for a few days. And
Cornell's birthday, you get to thinking, and
then you do something that's irreversible, and that's the thing that's the finality of it all is what is so heartbreaking, where it's like, if when the lights went out for him, you hear people that have survived jumping off a bridge, and it's like, I knew the second my feet left that ledge, oh, fuck, mistake, bad idea, didn't want to do that. And it's like, dude, you just wonder how many guys, if they could do it over again, would go, man, I needed a little perspective or something. But it's just so sad, and
tragic.
Yeah. Boy, this seems like a stupid story coming off of that.
Phelps?
Yeah, I was like,
Phelps raced a shark. Did you hear?
Why did we put this in this order? This just seems trivial at this point. Michael Phelps swam against a fake shark last night.
Has there ever been a bigger gimmick? Shark Week is really struggling the last few years, right? Remember when they did like that fake documentary, the Megalodon or whatever they called it? It was this prehistoric shark, but they made it like a Blair Witch kind of thing, like a real documentary. It felt like. And it turned out to just be completely bogus. Yeah.
Well, they got. Shark Week initially did really well. It was like a cult fan favorite.
Totally.
And then it started to get the press oh, Shark Week, and it's like they're
and
stuck
they felt
trying
pressure to deliver.
Yeah, now you got to outdo yourself.
You couldn't just go, well, here's a great white and we're in a cage and there it is. They had to start coming up with shows.
Yeah. So what do?
Shows.
They just had a shark swim, I guess, and they just timed it, doing 100-meter or something.
Which I thought, honestly, he timed out a bit slow. You think a great white shark, 100 meters, what was it, 36 seconds?
Yeah. How far is 100 meters, though?
What do you mean, how far is 100 meters?
How far is 100 meters?
How far is 100 yards? It's roughly equivalent.
Why don't they just call it 100 yards, then?
Because it's the metric system.
Fuck the metric. I'm tired of the metric system. So is that basically what it is, 100 yards?
It's basically. A little bit more than 100 yards.
I don't think the shark was given his all.
Believe me, dude, I'm with you. 36
Sharks are faster
seconds?
than that. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, Phelps did it in 38 seconds, 2 seconds slower. I guess people said, it was
109 yards, 100 meters.
Okay. I kind of want to see the slowest 100-meter yard dash ever,
too.
This
is the old bird.
Probably.
Boy.
I guess people said that that.
Oh no!
Hold on before you play it.
Sorry.
People were saying that it was filled with facts about sharks, so it wasn't a total wash. It wasn't just a total gimmick. That if you watched that special on Phelps and the shark, that there was just a ton of information about great whites, and people got something out of that. But
okay, so it's like the Al Capone vault in Geraldo, right? They made this big build up, and then the payoff is meh.
But did Geraldo give us information about Capone?
Oh, yeah.
He did.
It was a whole documentary about Capone and how dastardly he was and this and that. And, we could find bodies in there. We could find billions of dollars in jewels,
treasures,
and cash.
and gold.
There's a couple old wine bottles.
Yeah,
and
they
cut
empty?
the fuck out of there so quick. They're like, okay, we'll see you next time.
Dude, that almost ruined his career.
Yeah.
That was almost career ending.
But what would they have done if there were all these, what if there was a shit ton of gold and money? Who got that?
I don't remember.
I don't know. What if there was a body in there?
Yeah.
What if there's just heads in there?
Well, then Gerald Rivers is first on the scene.
Yeah. To report. We've got 4 human heads. You can't show that on TV. Would have been better off doing that. Oh, there's a bunch of heads in there. We can't show it. Sorry. You'll never see this.
That was the biggest bust ever.
All right. Let's watch the slowest.
All right, so we might have stumbled upon something interesting here. We're about to show the slowest 100-meter yard dash ever.
Why does it say meter yard dash?
Whatever, 100-meter yard dash. Bunch of high school kids, bigger girls.
I don't get it.
All right, that's just mean.
Yeah.
That's just mean. There's a heavy girl. who frankly didn't finish that far behind, to be honest.
That's what the slowest 100-meter. That's just an
Yeah, it's
Dude,
just humans being assholes to each other.
But that we've been over this. How to title YouTube videos, right?
Right, there you go.
On
We
our
just watched it.
We just watched it because it was entitled Slowest, and it piqued our interest with a Q.
Yeah, you just assumed there was going to be,
No, it was just a fat girl
just some fat shaming.
who, again, frankly, didn't finish that far behind.
And look what
Yeah.
I Googled. All I Google searches 100 yards to meter, or 100.
God, the
How many
SEO
views?
on that.
How many views does that video have?
Let's see.
That was a pointless video. There wasn't a wipeout.
Nope.
There wasn't someone, shaking his dick in the
This is going to
stands.
piss you off, dude.
There was nothing. It was basically go to any high school with a shitty camera and just film 8 girls running 100
Is
meters.
that what we should be doing?
How many?
13,121
Damn
views.
them to hell.
I would have thought it would have had more than that. Why did it
That's
pop
actually
up so...
still pretty damn good.
It's strong
Yeah.
for what it is.
Strong to quite strong.
God damn it.
You know,
Yeah,
I
and that's basically just a fat shaming. I bet if you read the comments, it'd be like, "What's that fat ass doing out there
Yeah.
on the track, anyways? You need to diet, sweetheart." People are such
She's
assholes.
ugly, too.
Remember that video I pulled up for you, Jay?
That little boy.
The little boy, he was
Yeah.
singing the Sweetie Pie song.
Yeah.
And he's just a little kid. He's just a little guy. He's obviously, see if you can find it.
Obviously
Sweetie
has a
Pie.
glandular,
What was it? I don't remember.
problem.
He's, I don't want to say fat kid sings, Just search
What was the song?
Sweetie Pie. I guess there's a little cartoon that song that this kid obviously had watched 1,000,000 times, like kids, they watch the same shit, and this is one of the songs in it. And so mom or something filmed him singing his version. I'm Sweetie Pie. And
And he's friggin' huge.
he's friggin', and it's just a close-up of his face, and it's a big fat face. He's an adorable little kid. Obviously has some medical issue of some sort. His cheeks are really bright red, and he's just doing his best.
Oh,
And he's
here
singing
we
his
go.
song. Yeah, pull it up here, E. And the comments are just fucking blistering. And
Yeah.
it's like, what a big man you are to attack a fucking 7-year-old with a clear medical issue. It's just awful. Look at that little guy.
Okay.
Look at that poops. Look at that poops.
Here he goes.
Look
at him go.
Look at that poops. Sing it, big boy. You're a good boy. Little pitchy dog.
He's animated.
I don't know how someone doesn't look at that and just go, you know what? I'm really thankful that my kids,
Yeah.
that everything's cool. That you look at that kid. That kid's going to have problems in life, no matter what. Right out of the gate, he's just been dealt a shit hand.
So your question is, why take a swing at him
Yeah.
in a YouTube comment?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You see a kid struggling on the ground. It's like, oh, hold on, guys. I'll be there in a minute. Let me just go kick this kid in the face really quick. That ought to help things. Good. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Take someone that looks like that poor kid does, and let's just poke him. See if we can't get him to commit suicide when he's 9.
That's creative.
Yeah. I mean, I deal with it all the time, but I'm a big boy. I'm fat shamed every minute of the day on Twitter and Facebook, and you pig assholes, monsters as I
Well-
call them, they don't stop. They don't care.
And you're not a victim, though. I mean, this kid's obviously a victim to a medical condition. You've just overeaten.
Yeah. What about my Prada
Prada
Willies?
Willie's is bullshit. You've just
Dude.
overeaten.
Dude,
You've overeaten and you've sat too long.
It's self-diagnosed,
There's
but
a
it's Prada. I'm convinced it's Prada Willies
It's
nonetheless.
a simple recipe to change this. Eat less calories. Burn more.
Either way, even if that's true, which it's not, self-diagnosed Prada
science.
Willie's victim here, even if it's not, it doesn't give you the right to post gross pictures of me and then let...
I don't do that.
I know, not you, but other people do. And it's because of you that they do.
What?
I blame you entirely. Everyone was fine with my fatness
dude.
until you started poking about
Look,
it all
it's
the
the
time.
elephant in the room.
so to speak.
Look,
Wordplay. We don't.
no one called him a sneech until you called him a sneech. And now everything that references him is about what a sneech he is.
It just takes somebody to throw out there, like, maybe the guy's a little overweight. Maybe the guy looks like a sneech. And then,
No, worse than
yeah,
that.
I was waiting to say it. Everybody out there was just waiting to say it.
Yeah, we were all not saying it until you opened the floodgates. Oh, guys, I don't know if you noticed, but look at the fat thing over here. Let me open the doors. Let's all come running in together and make fun of him.
Dude, you put the show on YouTube, not me.
That's So both at fault, I suppose, a little bit.
For my part, I'm sorry, for the record.
Yeah.
To
And
the extent.
Honestly, I don't see you sitting down at a keyboard and like making fun of that fat kid.
No.
You know, I don't see you doing that. I don't want to know the people that are doing that, but you're not doing that, are you?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't comment on anything online, honestly.
He's the nicest guy here, let's be honest.
Yeah,
Seriously.
probably fair. Fair statement. Did you see Jared Kushner today?
Yeah, I
Released
did.
some
I saw him a lot,
statement.
and you know what I got to think? He's a weird fucking looking guy, isn't he? Do you think that guy could grow any facial hair if challenged?
No, not a chance.
You know who he reminds me of is Jonathan Depp's portrayal of Wonka. He had a very fine face, kind of a China doll-like
yeah,
face.
yeah.
That's what Jared Kushner reminds. He's strange looking, man.
Yeah, he's strangely skinny.
strangely skinny.
His face is very skinny.
Yeah, very bony. Just the suits are all hipster tight suits and
Yeah.
thinnish tie. Just
Pee Wee Herman look
he's
going.
odd looking to me, man.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see him speak. We've been tied up all afternoon and morning, but I guess he has spoken. So he did release a statement, though.
It's very rare to hear him speak.
We've-
I'm not sure I've ever heard his voice. Do you
I
think that,
have
do you
not.
think that son of a bitch could grow a beard if challenged?
Maybe he could get some shading down here. You know, this part here. I think he
Boy.
gets some shading underneath the chin area.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, you're right. Now that I see that.
But I think, and that's just like
You know
not
what he could
much,
do? He
though.
could grow one of those really thin little stashes at best.
Oh, a dastardly one?
Well, one of those stashes like,
Vincent Price?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking, Vincent Price.
Yeah.
He's a weird looking dude. I don't trust him.
Price? Or
No,
Kushner?
Kushner.
Yeah. I don't know. I
don't think he's involved to the extent a lot of people do in terms of this Russian thing. He's weird to me, man. Something rubs me wrong.
I did like
Something
reading
about him rubs me wrong.
Really? Well, his dad was involved in some corrupt shit and went to jail.
And this whole I didn't disclose, but now I'm supplementing my disclosures. That's bullshit, dude. This guy's involved in high-level corporations.
Yeah.
Involved at a high level. He knows how important this stuff is.
Well, he's got an explanation for that, though.
Okay, give me the explanation.
Well, his explanation is, and if you don't
I didn't
know,
think it was important.
no, did you just knock that with your knee, or is your mic still working?
Yeah, my cough
fell.
button fell.
No, his explanation is, and I guess when you're getting into clearance levels for the government, you need to disclose, and there's a list of questions and different sets of forms that you need to fill out, and then they run through whatever processes they run, and then he's clear for this level of security, or whatever. That's what you're talking
He
about.
thought he was complying with a certain level, but
Yes.
not the next one or something like that.
No, and what it's in reference to is the HB SF 86 form.
Sure.
And so, according to him, he said, you got to put in context where we were at the time. First off, I'm in a million places and a million meetings, a million things going on, and I'm relying on other people to help with wherever they can. And so, when these forms were submitted, there was a rough draft that was sent, and it was sent somewhere, and so then it was sent back to his assistant in New York, and his assistant got a note that says these are all clear, or these are clear. Not realizing that there was more that needed to be added to it, she sent to him, these got cleared, and sent him in. Well, that night, Jared realized those weren't clear. I haven't even filled out the stuff for the blah, blah, blah. So the next day is when they
Okay.
submitted the new forms.
Before challenged.
Way
on
before
anything. Okay.
challenged, and long before the media got a hold of it. Within 24 hours, he had done this submission.
But weren't there more like later, months later and stuff?
I'm reading his account.
Okay.
So this is like maybe there's more, and he's not, being. But if you go on his word,
Yeah.
and like you say, we've never heard him talk. That's how he explains
I just
it.
think any sort of explanation like he's not sophisticated enough is bullshit. And I don't know if they've gone there. I mean, I kind of hear pundits doing that for him, and that's total bullshit. He's a really high-level businessman.
Yeah.
His dad went to jail for fraudulent shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of this stuff should be really on top of his mind.
Yeah.
And realize, like, this is important shit.
Yeah.
The left hates me. They're going to challenge me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be put at a very high level in this government. I'm going to be really careful to fine-tooth comb this.
Yeah. I don't know. I read this, and I could see how this happens. I don't mean to sound gullible, like, oh, yeah, he wrote it, so it must be true. But this is how I kind of envision this stuff going personally. So I'll read you part of it. If you get bored, tell me to shut up, and we can move on. But He says, I'm voluntarily providing this statement, submitting documents, and sitting for interviews in order to shed light on issues that have been raised about my role in the Trump campaign. I'm not a person who has sought the spotlight, first in my business and now in public service. Because there's been a great deal of conjecture, speculation, and inaccurate information about me, I am grateful for the opportunity to set things straight. Before joining the administration, I worked in the private sector, building and managing companies. My experience was in business, not politics. And it was not my initial intent to play a larger role in my father-in-law's campaign. However, as the campaign progressed, I was called on to assist with various tasks and aspects and took on more and more responsibility. Over the course of the primaries and general election campaign, my role continued to evolve. I ultimately worked with the finance, scheduling, communication, speechwriting, polling, data, and digital teams, as well as becoming a point of contact for foreign government officials. All of these were tasks that I had never performed on a campaign. When I was faced with a new challenge, I would reach out to contacts, ask advice, find the right person to manage the challenge, and work with that person to develop and execute a plan of action. I share this information because these actions should be viewed through the lens of a fast-paced campaign with thousands of meetings and interactions, some of which were impactful, many of which were not. When it became apparent that Trump was going to be the Republican nominee, as normally happens, a number of officials from foreign countries attempted to reach out to the campaign. My father-in-law asked me to be a point of contact with these foreign countries. Over the course of the campaign, I had incoming contacts from people from approximately 15 countries. I must have received thousands of calls, letters, emails from people looking to talk or meet on a variety of issues and topics, including hundreds from outside the United States. I called on a variety of people with deep experience, such as Dr. Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, for advice on policy for the candidate, which countries / representatives with which campaigns should engage, and what messaging would resonate. With respect to my contacts with Russia or Russian reps during the campaign, there were hardly any. The first that I can recall was at the Mayflower Hotel. Candidate Trump was delivering a major foreign policy speech. During the event and speech, doing the event and speech had been my idea, and I oversaw its execution. I stopped into the reception to thank the host of the event, Dmitry Simis, the publisher of a biweekly monthly foreign magazine, policy magazine. He had created a guest list and extended the invites. He introduced me to several guests, among them 4 ambassadors, including Sergei Kislyak, the Russian ambassador. With all the ambassadors, we shook hands, exchanged brief pleasantries. I thanked them for attending. They also expressed interest in creating relationships should we win the election. Each exchange lasted less than a minute. Some gave me their business cards and invited me to lunch. I took none of these invitations up. So he goes on to talk about the Russian chick. And he says, as far as
met with Junior.
Yeah, the lawyer. But on the Kislyak thing, he says when Trump won the election, he said I should probably, we got a note from Putin. I got an email that said, hey, President Putin would like to congratulate Donald Trump. And so he went to senior level people and went, is this real? Is there any way to tell if this is real? And so he thought, wait, I met that Russian ambassador guy at one point. What was his name? Doesn't even remember his name. And so there's documented a letter that he wrote to that Mr. Simonis guy.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, dude, what was the name of that Russian ambassador guy? Maybe he can verify whether this is real or not.
Oh, that's funny.
And so he's like, we've got this documented here. And then as far as the Russian chick, the lawyer who possibly worked for the Kremlin, he was like, I was CC'd on like halfway through their big thing of, and he's like, I didn't read any of that shit. I didn't know what it was. I was asked by Don Jr., hey, can you join this meeting at 4 o'clock on X day? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'll put it in my schedule. And he went there.
Popped in, popped out.
He said, I went in. I was late. When I sat down, they were talking about some bullshit with like Russian adoption. And he said, so when Don Jr.'s like, he was on his phone the whole time. He was texting his assistant going, this is bullshit. Call my phone right now. I'm going to use it as an excuse to bail on this meeting. And so she calls. He's like, I got to take this. And then bailed. Was done. And he's like, that's the extent of my involvement with the Russians in this campaign and blah, 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 blah. So,
all right. The fact remains, though, he looks like Jonathan Depp and Willy Wonka. Okay.
I was looking at that picture.
Fact remains.
Dude.
So I don't trust him.
I'd like to see him with a top hat and that bouffant hair.
I wish Kadog was here right now.
Oh, because he could do that. Kadog could, in fact, do that.
Image, Willy Wonka, Johnny Depp. Yeah, no, it seems plausible. And certainly the idea that the shit's a whirlwind. He's trying to take care of a million different things. is definitely plausible, as they say.
Well, you said early on, like, when we first, the Russian collusion story was everywhere. You were like, I think this is more of like, holy shit, we're doing this. And it's like, you're on the go now. You're on the fly and trying to figure things out. And you can imagine what a mess and a zoo that campaign would be without any, no one really knowing what's going on.
No context to what a campaign is.
Yeah, and putting pieces together on the fly, and everyone's talking about, they should have a ground game by now. They should have. It's like a ground game. What are you talking about? And Trump doesn't know who he can trust and who he can. And it's like he's bringing in Jared Kushner, and so you can see how there's going to be some missteps. I don't mean to excuse them at all, but that sounds reasonable. That it's like, because that's what we would imagine. You'd be getting 10 million calls a day, and it's. I don't know.
Well,
again,
it gives fodder for the shit media to grind away at for another 2 weeks.
And he did speak today, I guess, actually spoke on camera.
I honestly want to hear his voice. I'll listen to it on the break. I've never heard him speak.
What if that's the problem? That he's got a really mousy voice or something. Hi, I'm Jared Kushner, and I just have something to say.
Wouldn't that be fucking awesome?
When it's time to change, and it's
got to rearrange.
Or if he's got some really like, yeah, bitches.
Christian shit, motherfuckers. How you guys doing? All this collusion and Russian bullshit. I only met 2 of them motherfuckers. Shit. I'll tell you what happened, all right? It's about this visa and shit. I met this bitch at the thing. I knew it was bullshit. Adopt like anyone wants to adopt a fucking kid from Russia. Shit. I texted my bitch back at the office and said, bitch, please send me a text. I gotta get out of this fucking meeting. This is some bullshit.
Please say his voice sounds like that. Please. One time. I need it today.
I think it probably doesn't. Don't get your hopes up. But, we'll see on the break. Hey, insurance, we all need it. Most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who even provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services change all of that. Brent has over 29 years in the business and offers all types of insurance coverage: auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. Call Brent Wasik at 734-455-1900 and get a free, no obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900. Ask for Brent. I'm going to have to give Brent a call in the coming days. Manny is going to be turning 16. He's going to be needed to be added to my auto insurance.
Oh, is that going to be a big hike?
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be, right?
Yeah.
That's 16-year-old boys especially. That's the one.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm afraid, man.
But
if anybody can help me, it's Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services.
He'll find you the best one out there. Are they able to drive totally alone?
No,
at 16 now, like
restrictions.
We were?
No, dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of a step process where you're allowed to be with one other non-licensed driver during daylight or something.
Yeah.
Or there's like a 10 p.m. curfew, something like that.
So the idea of I'll see you after the concert and then pile 8 of your friends in the car, can't do that anymore.
No.
Probably for the better.
It definitely is, dude. I mean, think about your first year of driving.
Yeah.
Fucking free for all.
Honestly, any rules that apply now to people like 21 and under, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
At the time, I would have hated you for that, but now it's like, nah, just pile them on.
You know what, though? The kids now, they don't care that much. I was talking to somebody at Hamlin the other day, and we were talking about how Harley sales have changed. And, the fact that millennials aren't driving Harleys. And it's true, dude. I mean, look at a Harley next time you're stopped at a light. It's guaranteed 40 to 65-year-old guy.
Yeah.
If not older.
Yep.
But we were just talking about millennials
so
in general and how their views on things are just completely different. We joke about living in the basement and not caring about that, not being shamed for that. You're in my generation that was shameful. You would have felt like a total fucking asshole, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that kids now get licenses and they're happy to get it, but it's not the be all end all. They'd rather have their phone than a license.
Yeah. I wonder if that's because parents that are raising kids today are more, I don't want to say friends with their kids, but it sounds awful. My parents were great. They were great to me growing up. They weren't perfect, but they were great. They provided and they did a good job and they were fair. Whether I liked it or not, I couldn't point back and go, they were full of shit and they weren't fair. I was an asshole and I got treated like I was an asshole and I deserved that. It's easy to see that now, but I couldn't wait to get away from them. I didn't want them on the sidelines of my games. I didn't want to go to the mall with them. It was I wanted to hang out with my buddies and do my thing. Whereas, kids now don't want to just like get away from their parents, and maybe that's why it's like, no, why would I leave here? This place is tits, man. I'm 26 years old. My mom's doing my laundry and cooking my food.
I think
still.
I think it's a practical evaluation that they do, where they're like, you mean if I left, I'd have to make X amount in order to pay for all this stuff? I'd rather stay at home.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm under their thumb a little bit, but I have all this time on my hands that I can do whatever I want.
Well, I know I'm a bad example. I get it. I'm the worst of the examples.
An anomaly in many ways.
But I do think sometimes my thought is a lot of these older guys that or older people that get mad at the millennials. You know, I think there's a lot of thing out there just saying that millennials are all assholes and none of them work. I think they have a lot of work ethic.
They're just different, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my observation. Is it's very different. I'm not calling them assholes.
Oh no, I know you're not. I think there's a lot of people that think that they're all entitled. I don't believe that's true. And actually, I think it sucks, but for some people. But I think it's a generation of people that grew up not thinking I don't need to have a 30-year mortgage on a house.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a nice car. And I don't necessarily need to get married and have kids.
No, I think it's a practical. Like I said, I think practically they look at it and they go. And I know I'm thinking of a guy in particular who has done this. He's lived with his parents into his 30s, and he's banked a ton of money on a couple different jobs that he does. And good for him, man. When he's ready to go out, he's going to be really set and do well. And in the meantime, you know, his parents enjoy having him around. He likes his parents, and everybody's happy.
Well, we grew up at a time when it was like you needed to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, look at the guy at the corner got a new car and it's bigger and faster than mine, and there was this like this almost push.
Expectations have changed.
Yeah, and you know I have this house here, and dude, if I could snap my fingers and be in an apartment somewhere and just not have this, I fucking would. It's pointless. It's dumb, and the older I get, I realize. This is just stupid. It's a waste. It's obnoxious. What to have 2 empty bedrooms that no one's using? Like, what is the point to this? It's dumb. And you look at them, and they don't put the value in that, like that we did. I was talking to Derek over the weekend about this, and I was like, you know, I give millennials a lot of shit, but there is something to be said for someone because it was like, well, what are you doing? You take a job, you don't leave it after a year. You know, what kind of you're going to build a reputation as someone who's unreliable that quits on a dime. And it's like, there's another side to that where they're like, no, I'm not going to put up with this shit. If you're going to be an asshole, I'm going to leave.
An argument can be made that they're way smarter than us.
Yeah.
Just way more practical.
And it's like, he's got 4 jobs, and because he's not going to settle and just have some dickhead boss that he's under his thumb for 30 years.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. Won't do it. And it's like, God damn it, were we just stupid? Like, why am I staying at this job being miserable all these years?
Because your dad told you that's what you're supposed to do. And I think there was just a generation that kind of came up and said, I don't have to do that necessarily.
There's something very troublesome about the lack of work ethic.
You are right.
If you're talking about the category of the millennial that doesn't have the work ethic of the guy I just described, who's banking money on a couple jobs, but rather is just milking their parents, and then they turn around, they're 45 years old, and they've done nothing with their life. That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they're, you know, hashtagging and they're, you know, bitching about everything going on in society. That's the stereotypical millennial that I think really does exist, and is a major fucking problem, man. But to those guys who are just trying to save money and do life a different way, I don't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, I was talking to Tooch about this, and he was in like Portland or something for some meeting recently, and he said, you know, they were giving me a tour of their offices and showing me what they did, and every one of them's 23 or 24, and every day is casual day, and it's like they're just walking around. It's like, yeah, that's my office there. I come in when I want, I leave when I want. They're in flip flops and shit.
Yeah.
And he said they're hard workers, but what's important to them is like, I want to be able to go on a hike anytime I want, and I want to be able to like. I'm not worried about a fat mortgage and a 7 Series BMW is irrelevant. I will ride my bike to work, and I will have my freedom.
Yeah, they're not really motivated by monetary bonuses.
Yeah,
you know, like, well, if you meet this, you'll get this bonus. They'll go, no, I think I'll just work what I'm doing right now and not try for that.
This is kind of cool and all, you know, I'm able to do my thing. And if they find that it's gotten uncool, they'll leave.
It's a different psychology, and it's what, you know, marketers and everybody's struggling to figure out. And those who do are going to benefit greatly. You know, like I was thinking about Dan Gilbert the other day as I was explaining to Manny and Russell how he invested so much downtown. He did it right at the right time when that generation of kid wanted that. They wanted to move down there, work jobs downtown, and have that community downtown. and he's on the forefront of it, and he's benefiting hugely.
And he bought everything at a fraction of
Yeah.
what the value of a major city would
but
be.
he couldn't have forced our generation to do that.
No.
You know, he did it with the
No,
right
no.
generation because he knew he had studied it, or somebody working for him had studied it.
And he laid enough groundwork to make it hipper and cooler in certain areas, and it took a long time to get that way. But you couldn't have done that with us. There's no way. There wasn't a single like store or grocery store or anything you'd feel comfortable walking into. You know, but now, yeah, I don't know. It's not a discussion we normally have, but you know, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
They're here to stay, Mike. We got to deal with them. These millennials.
Part of me feels like they've grown up at a time when they haven't really seen any hardships and everything's kind of been made simple from their parents. And so like we had a lot of pressure on like, you better be something, you better work hard, you need to, and you know,
But even the generation above us would say, bullshit, dude. You had it fucking easy. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
we did.
You had a safety net.
Yeah.
My generation, the greatest generation, you know, we worked the hardest. You're always going to be compared.
yeah.
And it's just gotten more slack as you go down from the greatest generation.
Well, as we get further and further from like real
War and
hardships
conflict.
in this country where it's felt by the population
Yeah.
of this country, and we've had a long time where you haven't felt real struggle. Like, oh my God, the kids at 8 need to work on the corner selling whatever we can make to make money so we can eat. Like, until you feel that struggle, which we didn't, you know,
Right.
and this generation certainly hasn't. You know, but that puts into perspective. That's all. That just puts into perspective, like, oh my God, hashtag not my president.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense when you.
But it also
when you got
shows
real
human
issues.
nature. Everybody wants to bitch about something.
Yeah.
And feel like their life is hard.
My life is hard. I told you in the open. Man.
You know?
I've had a stressful day. It gave me a headache. My headache's gone, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank
there
you
go.
for those.
Hey, no problem.
I didn't know if
Whatever
they were
that was.
ecstasy or I just got 2 orange pills with no label. What appeared to be no label on it. Maybe there was, and my eyes quit.
He's
And
very
so-
trusting.
Yeah. Anyway, on to other things. I did want to. Let's see, where did that story go?
Kid Rock.
No, I'll get to Kid Rock maybe after the break. But did you see? It's coming, Jay. It's coming. I'm going to play a Bill Burr clip for you, and I want you to listen to it. It's pretty awesome as we go into break. But a Wisconsin company announced this week that it plans to install microchips in its employees.
What? What?
Yeah. How's that feel? Radio for One Studios is now putting microchips in its employees.
As if Isis hasn't been chipped. And he's not an employee, for the record. He's a subcontractor.
That's true.
I've long since wanted a chip for my license, so I didn't have to freaking lose my wallet and shit all the time. I one time, I think,
That
3
sentence
times in a
didn't make
year.
sense.
No, it made no sense. If you're saying you want a chip in your wallet so that you can find it when you lose it.
No. I one time lost my driver's license 3 times in a year. So I was like, the lady knew me at the Secretary of State, and I was like, "Can I just get the chip? Do I need? I throw like in my wrist or something."
Sure.
Yeah. He's willing to sacrifice.
And what was
risk
her
anything.
response? No, sir, we don't chip people.
Yeah, well, obviously that was her response. No, she took me out back and said, "Oh, actually, yeah, we can help you out with something." And I don't know what she did, but it did something.
Wow.
But
He's,
my butt hurts now, and it's hurt ever since.
so anyway, they're insisting though this will not be GPS tracking. Okay.
Sure.
We just need you to take our word.
No,
This-
your phone does that for him.
Yeah, right.
Your company-issued phone.
3 Square Market, a company that designs software for break room markets, is about to become the first in the U.S. to offer microchip implants to its employees. The implanted radio frequency ID chip will allow workers to make purchases in their break room.
Now I got you.
Open doors, log in their computers.
Just for convenience.
Yeah.
Who would do this?
Use the copy machine, among other things. Eventually, this technology will become standardized, allowing you to use this as your passport, public transit, all purchasing opportunities, etc.
They're just hoping like nice employees will go, yeah, I'll be the guinea pig. Sure,
Yeah.
that'll be fun. That sounds great.
They're expecting that over 50 staff members will be chipped with this technology voluntarily. Are you out of your mind? Seriously, are you out of your fucking mind? And that's when you just go, yeah, here's my resignation letter. Good luck with that shit. Chip users will so they'll scan their items in a break room. So they'll like have their items in. They're just like, whoa.
What, you're talking about like buying a bag of chips or something?
Yes, dude.
Come on.
Trivial shit. But you can open the door, too. As if pushing a door open is such a problem for all of us. This is how they get you, man. This is how they do it.
The bag of chips. That's how they get you.
No, it's the oh, for your convenience, we've just slid in here these 12 items or less only checkouts that you can do yourself. You don't need someone that's like, not bad. I hate that when I'm stuck behind all these assholes and I've only got 10 items. That's great. And it's like, well, they don't seem to mind doing it themselves. Next thing you know, you're going in mine and you're on your own for scanning your own shit. It's bullshit. I want cashiers to know what they're doing. I want them to bag my shit. I was paying for that service. The price of food has not dropped, and now I'm bagging my own shit, and I don't like it.
Get off my lawn, holy shit.
Stolen grievance, old man. Hey, another example, Gmail. Hey, here's a free email service for you.
Sure.
There you go. Just sign up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they're doing behind the scenes?
What?
They got everything known about you now. They're tracking every fucking move you make on the internet.
Oh, you mean it's not just coincidence when you're getting commercials thrown at your email and every website you visit?
Correct.
It's like, wow, that's amazing. I was just thinking about buying one of those. How'd they know that? Is it tracking you already? The chip users will just hold their hands up, similar to how consumers pay for products using their cell phones, and it'll pay for the product. Each chip costs $300. Of course, the company's paying for that. We got that covered for you.
Yeah, you better, dude. I'm about to fucking put one of your chips in my damn wrist.
I think it goes in your finger, dude. Look at that. I think it goes like under your finger or something.
Who the fuck would do this?
Let me see it.
I know. Here's what sucks about this though. This is like this is just the introduction to like whatever. We didn't have any problems with the finger chip guy, and people were getting bags of chips, and it was automatically drawn out of their account. They didn't have trouble struggling to open doors anymore. It just like automatically did it.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of normal. It's just a simple way of just like making this like
Normalizing.
normal. This is normal, man.
Right.
And then
slippery slope.
yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. Go ahead. Did you want to do a read?
No, go ahead.
Bill Burr does an incredible rant about this topic, and it goes to I think it starts about a Duracell battery commercial he saw, but I think you'll enjoy it if you haven't seen it.
They just see people talking, they just come up, hey, Friday, Applejack. They just start telling a story. They don't have the decency to start at the beginning. They like start in the middle, then they jump back to the beginning. And for little 2-year-olds, they should do it. Like microchip. It's like a Tarantino movie. Like Travolta's walking by in the background. Hey, Brody Applejack. It's like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? I love him. Somebody get him a stool to sit down. He sounds like he's gonna have a heart attack. Like drooling all over himself. Do they make wife beaters for little 2-year-olds? They should do it. Little Fisher Price Harley Davidson. I can't take it. They're adorable. No, but it's a scary time, dude. It's a scary time to raise a kid. That's the only thing I'm worried about. It's a really scary time. I think they're getting ready to like microchip all of us. I'm not even joking, dude. Have you seen that new Duracell commercial where that woman can't find her kid in the park? Dude, what kind of a fucked up way is that to sell batteries? It's a little hardcore, don't you think? Don't you remember the old battery commercials? They show some guy in a rainstorm, right? Changing a tire, takes out a flashlight. Hey, thank God he had Duracell. I can see how wet I'm getting. That was it. Now they're showing this woman she can't find her kid in the park. She's sitting there like, Kevin? Kevin? Has anybody seen Kevin? Sitting there freaking out that she pulls out this device. And then all of a sudden Kevin comes running out of the woods. And they're just like, Duracell batteries. It's like, dude, fuck the batteries. What was that thing she just took out of her pocket? How did Kevin know to come out of the woods? He didn't have an antenna. His sneakers weren't glowing. What the fuck is in Kevin that is connected to that? Dude, don't just show me that like that's normal. Oh, yeah, remote control kids. Hey, let's go see Mommy. Dude, that is some creepy New World Order shit. Evidently, it's a bracelet, and they just put the microchip in there. But that's how they're going to do it. They're going to scare the shit out of you that someone's going to take your kid. It's just a bracelet. Well, what if they take the bracelet? Oh, we'll just glue it to the forehead. We'll just sort of drill it in there. I'm telling you, whatever they're doing to dogs, they're going to be doing to us in like 10 years, right? They got those things, microchips with their balls cut off. I'm telling you. They're going to have us on TV waiting to get rescued like some accountant looking all... fucked up with the TV, right? That's what you're gonna hear in the future. That's gonna be the future. Dude, you hear about Eddie? Ah, they turned his chip off, man! Dude, the guy's fucked! He is fucked! He made one little joke about the government. Next thing you know, he had to buy a round. His head wouldn't go through. They kept scanning it, nothing. He's outside screaming up at a satellite, turn it back on. They're not turning it back on. The dude's fucked. The dude is fucked. Dude, I ain't standing next to him. They're gonna shut my chip off. I don't even know that guy.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
We all know to look up, locate, step to the side if a tree is falling. But what if the tree falls on your home or car? We all know to look up, locate, step to the side if a tree is falling. But what if the tree falls on your home or car? In this scenario, you better hope that you have the best insurance coverage you can get. That's why you need to call Brent Wasik, insurance agent of the Detroit Cast. He will find you the best coverage for your home, auto, commercial, business, or life insurance at an unbelievable price. Call him today at 734-455-1900 for your free, no-obligation quote. Nobody can do what he can do.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, Mike and Jay. I know what I'm going to do right after the show.
What do you
Got
got?
a plan. I think I'm going to fire up the grill.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Please, really?
It's kind of nice out. Kowalski left a bunch of sausages and dogs and stuff, so
Nice.
I've got buns, I've
I know
got
what
dogs,
E's
I've got...
I know what E's going to do after the show.
What?
Hang around and eat hot dogs.
Yeah, can I?
I'll give you 3/4 of a... I don't want you puking all over the house and stuff, E, so I'll give
I
you like
bet.
half a dog.
Dude, I could eat you know what's funny, dude? Hot dogs and pizza are maybe my favorite thing to eat. That was a weird.
Oh, no, I've seen it firsthand.
Okay.
You seem like a huge fan of hot dogs, at least.
Literally
Almost
choked.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you lost to a 40-pound girl in a pink shirt, but whatever, dude. That happens. Happens to the best of us.
I seriously love hot dogs.
Yeah.
And last
Would
few
you
times
like to stay, E, and have a dog? If I have as much fun as I think I'm going to have up there cooking up some sausages for me and E after the show.
Facebook Live it.
That
Mike.
actually
This
just
sounds
made
compelling.
me feel really good. I don't know, dude. I'm not kidding. It kind of.
It's the small things in life.
It's a shot of adrenaline to eat.
He
Hot
doesn't
dogs,
need a
free hot
Bentley.
dogs.
He doesn't need a Bentley or a house. Oh, free sausage after the show?
I don't
Okay.
even know how to explain it. I literally just when you just said you might cook some hot dogs after, I was like, you know what, this day is looking up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're not easy. We're not too hard to please. Hey, we got a Texas lieutenant governor. He's blamed the deaths of now 10 illegal immigrants. It was 9 yesterday. He's blaming that on sanctuary cities.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them incentive to come in, right?
Mm-hmm. He did a Dan Patrick, and I didn't even know he left, like doing his talk show or Sports Center or whatever.
I happened to catch a little bit of the Dan Patrick show this morning.
Did you?
Which is usually in a different studio. So there was some other guy on the Dan Patrick show. I have no idea who he was.
Yeah.
But a totally different studio than what I'm used to. And now you're going to tell me that he's off that show?
Oh, I don't know. But the guy that in the Facebook post, the lieutenant governor of Texas, is named Dan Patrick.
God
so I'm just
damn it.
assuming.
It's not the same Dan Patrick.
You don't know that. I can't say that with absolute
Oh,
certainty. I just
jeez.
read Dan Patrick. I was like,
Completely irrelevant discussion we just had for 25
wow. I
seconds.
was wondering where you were going with that. I figured you'd assume, like, how often do we do that?
I thought you were going to involve the real Dan Patrick somehow.
Anytime we do a story where there's a similar name, it's like, boy, I didn't even know he left the Muppets. Huh.
He left the Muppets.
I know. What an awful, like, as if they were going to run. Well, Kermit the Frog said. Lieutenant Governor Kermit the Frog said.
I didn't even know Kermit left.
Wow, I had no.
I knew there was some conflict there with his puppeteer, but
I-
Kermit the Frog himself I thought was cool with the Muppets. I didn't think he was going anywhere.
That was my version of choking. I could have said literally any TV show or movie in the history of time.
I don't think that was a choke at
And
all.
the
I think that
Muppets.
was masterfully done.
Okay, I'll take
be
that.
honest.
Thank you. Anyway, he says Dan Patrick said if it wasn't for the sanctuary cities, which refused to work with the federal government in deporting illegal immigrants, the tragedy in San Antonio would never have happened. Sanctuary cities entice people to believe that they can come to America and Texas and live outside the law. Sanctuary cities also enable human smugglers and cartels. Today, these people paid a terrible price and demonstrate why we need a secure border and legal immigration reform so we can control who enters our country. Fair enough. I imagine there would still be some of that behavior going on, but
Sure.
probably limited.
It's a reasonable argument, though.
Yeah. The driver of the tractor trailer, 60-year-old James Bradley, was arrested as well. He's doing court, I guess today, to face human trafficking charges. And sounds like there may have been 100 people at one time in this truck, this tractor
And he had
trailer
delivered
truck.
some of them already.
Well, they said that some like jumped out, like when authorities got there, like scrambled and into the woods, just like fucking cockroaches when the lights flipped on. And some people were reporting that, oh yeah, some people got off at the stop 3 miles back and met their ride, stuff like that. But yeah, there could be more deaths. It sounds like extreme dehydration and all that stuff. But
Well, he's in a bit of a pickle.
I wonder what happens to him. I mean,
Well, you read an example yesterday, right, where the driver got like 30 years or something.
Yeah, I think he got 3 life sentences, and then they resentenced him for some reason to 34 years. I don't know. I don't know the backstory of that, but
And on the scale of this organization, this guy's probably like a drug mule,
Oh, yeah,
He's-
totally.
There's 8 steps
Yeah.
above him.
Well, that's what the feds are saying, or ICE officials are saying, is like this is not just about this truck and this guy. We're going, like, it's very rare that a truck will come across the border with these people. Like, they're on their own to barefooted across the country, and then these guys will pick them up and escort them wherever else. And so there's a whole system that we need to go after and blah, blah, blah. The other thing with that guy that got those 34 years, weren't they saying that he could hear them screaming and stuff like for help, and he ignored that?
Bad fact.
Yeah. That's a tough fact to ignore, especially if the doors are locked. Whew. Anyway, we've had fun over the last couple weeks, ever since Kid Rock kind of alluded to possibly running for Senate in Michigan. And great article. If you get the time, I'll read you a bunch of it. But if you want to check it out yourself, I believe it's Politico. Did the big story about how, the thought of Senator Kid Rock, don't be so quick to laugh at that. And they've got their reasons as to why this could be legit and why it might work as well.
Laugh at your own peril. I mean, we have President Trump.
Yes.
Exhibit A.
As you're reading this, odds are a Democratic operative in Michigan or Washington, D.C. is listening to Kid Rock's gravelly voice, rapping, shrieking, and crowing, and meticulously cataloging every single offensive syllable. The musician and prospective candidate for Senate is an opposition researcher's dream come true. For more than 2 decades, Robert Ritchie, or Bobby as he asked people to call him, has written and performed provocative records about, among other things, drug use, excessive drinking, sexual exploits with prostitutes, strippers, and Hollywood starlets. Political opponents will be digging through more than just his albums, too. There's the sex tape he started, the arrest following a Waffle House brawl, the messy divorce from Pam Anderson. He's offered other forms of ammunition to potential foes, such as when he told Rolling Stone of his distaste for Beyonce. I like skinny white chicks with big tits. Seems like something Kid would say. He gave the New Yorker his stance on same-sex marriage. I don't give a fuck if gay people get married. I don't love anybody who acts like a fucking faggot. Oof, that's a tough one. Because of his manifest rebelliousness, the offensive language, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle, the middle finger to polite company, Kid Rock's tweet last week announcing he's considering a campaign for Senate in Michigan was met with predictable contempt from the political class. How dare the foul-mouthed, long-haired, wife-beater-wearing, Jim Beam-swigging redneck suggest he belongs in the world's greatest deliberative body. And consensus for him that it's a money-making publicity stunt, that Kid Rock for Senate should not be taken seriously. That might be a huge miscalculation. Yes, healthy skepticism is warranted. His flirtation with electoral politics could be nothing more than a promotional ploy aimed at rekindling interest in his career. He's only had one single reach any Billboard charts in the past 4 years. This theory doesn't appear consistent with the man himself, though. Ritchie boasts a huge and devoted following, has sold tens of millions of albums, and amassed what he calls fuck you money. Enough of it, in fact, that he has given 7-figure sums to charity, capped ticket sales to his concerts at $20 to make them accessible to the working class. When Mitt Romney asked for his endorsement ahead of the primary in 2012, Kid Rock invited him to his home and peppered him with a list of policy questions, sleeping on his decision before informing Romney that he would, in fact, support him. None of this guarantees Ritchie will run, but it suggests he shouldn't be mocked when he says he's thinking about it. So if you're still not taking Kid Rock seriously, here's why you should. His path to the U.S. Senate is far easier than Trump's was to the White House. Presuming Kid Rock does not get caught in bed with a little boy or beat up a woman between now and August of 2018, he's going to win this nomination if he gets in, says Dennis Lennox, a Republican political consultant in Michigan. I think there's no question about that. And then they go through Kid Rock on the issues. I can stop at any point if you guys get tired of this. On congressional gridlock, somebody's just got to smack the fuck out of Congress and get them to start working together and put this bullshit aside and get this country back on track. These are all quotes that he said about these questions in various media outlets. That was a Billboard interview he did in 2012. On drug policy, I don't smoke much weed. It makes me dumb, but they should legalize and tax everything: pot, coke, heroin. It's an argument that a lot of people will make, right. Not popular with a lot. On political correctness, rap rock turned into a lot of bullshit, and it turned out to be pretty gay. If somebody says you can't say gay like that, you can tell them to go fuck themselves. You're not going to get anything politically correct out of me. A lot of people will listen to that message. On Barack Obama, I didn't agree with Obama's politics, or policies, but there was an exciting sense of change in the air. That promise hasn't been fulfilled. The country is more divided than ever. On to Donald Trump. Has that much fucking changed when anyone's in office? I haven't really seen this big, like, fucking change. Let the motherfucking business guy run it like a fucking business. And his campaign has been entertaining as shit. Trump competed with 16 rivals for the Republican nomination. Established, well-regarded, well-financed. Ritchie would enter a primary field with 3 little-known newcomers. Trump was targeted by national network of influential donors and activists who laughed him off at first. Ritchie would face little such resistance in a state where primaries aren't preordained by party bosses. Trump started his run with no obvious base or blueprint. Ritchie would launch a campaign on the strength of his favorite son status here in Michigan.
That's the key right there, dude. Trump won despite him being Trump.
Yeah.
Like, people didn't, he wasn't a beloved figure. He was well known.
Yeah.
But people didn't, oh my God, I love Donald Trump.
He wasn't well liked, though.
No, he wasn't.
You know?
He won despite that.
Yeah.
And Kid Rock has the best of both worlds. He's anti-establishment and people love him.
Here.
So people who are anti-establishment and wanted politics turned on its head showed that even with Trump, a guy that wasn't liked, they were willing to vote for him just to change things. So he's one step ahead of Trump for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, they say some Democrats are freaking out because of the playbook that Trump used, and it could work for Kid Rock. You know, they say Debbie Stabenow wouldn't be an easy, shoe-in win. Like, she's well established and known and fairly well liked. And
Kid Rock versus Ronald McDonald, dude. Have you seen her lately?
Yeah.
That combed back red hair, the bright red lips.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. It seems to me like I think this state would rally around Kid Rock.
I do
honestly.
Too. I do too.
One of the things they say, he's well liked in Michigan. He's a hometown darling. He's got deep connections in Detroit. He's done a lot throughout the state. Anybody who's writing him off is making a huge mistake.
I agree with that, but I'll say this. It will come down to a question of whether the populist viewpoint still holds or whether people who voted for Trump and went with him to turn things on its head go, boy, I'm not super happy with what I'm seeing from Trump.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trim it back and go with somebody more established, more politically polished that I feel more comfortable with.
Yeah.
And that's the big question: is will there still be the swell of anti-establishment vote or not? And
yeah.
And I think in large part it depends on how Trump is doing.
Is it different because it's national politics versus more localized politics? Because the national attention that is got, Washington, D.C., where it's at right now, battling and fighting and collusion and this and dominating, that won't be there for a Kid Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but I think the overall feeling, like, do I want to take a risk on this guy?
Yeah.
Kind of is tied into your feeling on Trump. Like, I voted for Trump. In reality, I voted for Neil Gorsuch.
Right.
I've mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm.
But I voted for the guy, and I don't know. I'll reevaluate, in a year or so, whether I feel comfortable with still that same stance. And I think a lot of people will be doing the same thing. There are people who are dyed in the wool, like, hey, man, Trump's my guy. I'm with him no matter what, and I'm anti-establishment, and I'll go Bob Ritchie in a second.
Yeah. I think there's just a lot of groundswell for anti-establishment. And it's not just Trump. It's Bernie Sanders.
It's international.
It's international. It's Bernie Sanders, and it goes far back, further than that, to Obama. Obama was hope and change. Obama was a risk. Obama didn't have shit. He was a community organizer with a sketchy past that no one wanted to report on. Like, he was the fuck anything but the establishment. And so it started long ago.
My point, though, is there may be a righting of the ship here where people go, okay, we did the Trump thing. I'm not totally comfortable with moving guys like Kid Rock into these positions. Mm-hmm. Maybe a state legislator, but U.S. Senate, boy, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they say Kid Rock comes from a prideful place, the Motor City, the arsenal of democracy, Motown, Aretha, Seeger, Stevie, Eminem, Joe Louis, Hockeytown, the Bad Boys, Detroit's popular image, grit, swagger, resilience, and the identity derived from it so permeate the region and much of the rest of the state that even those who do not hail from inside the city limits claim a sort of honorary citizenship. And I think we would all agree that's true. That includes, your Oakland township, your Oakland counties and all of us. We don't technically live in the city limits, but anyway. So it's how Robert Ritchie, born into considerable wealth and raised in Macomb County, came to be viewed as a champion for Detroit. His dad, Bill Ritchie, owned Crest Lincoln Mercury. I had no idea how successful that car dealership was.
I didn't realize his dad owned that.
Yeah. In nearby Sterling Heights. His mother, Susan, raised the couple's 4 children. The family lived in an 18-room, 5,628-square-foot estate with a 5-car garage, 3-horse barn, in-ground swimming pool, and private tennis court.
Huh.
Did you know any of that?
No.
I knew about his dad with a car dealership. Now, you got to remember, Kid Rock, like, fuck you, and ran out of the house at 15 and was living on the streets and shit after that. So the net was there, though. Anyway, the Richies were known for their raging barn parties, blasting Seeger late into the night. Yet it was here that Robert Ritchie fell in love with rap music. In mostly black, mostly urban rap scene of Metro Detroit, Ritchie stood out. His stage name famously came from partygoers who were just like, look at that white Kid Rock, man. His legend grew as he took to rapping. Yeah, he was never without that swagger and that attitude. Mm-hmm. I've told the story about seeing him at a like backyard party before Devil Without a Cause came out, and it's one of these like just rager multi-keg, multi-bands playing on a homemade stage, and then this dude walks in a full fucking like down to his feet mink, and 2 chicks, one on each arm, and he's got a derby hat on and a cigar, and he walks in, and I just remember just going, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, same outfit he wore to Woodstock.
Sort of, yeah. And it was like, oh, that's Kid Rock. And it was like, I'd never heard the name before. But I'll never forget it. It was like, dude, looked so out of place, but just super confident, Like he was already a rock star in his mind. So anyway, observers have expressed surprise, even bewilderment at discovering an intelligent, articulate, charismatic, even introspective person in real life. At the end of a fascinating 50-minute interview with Dan Rather earlier this year, the former CBS anchor studied Ritchie and told him, despite how you present yourself sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly, you run deep, Haas.
Haas.
He was a rapper in the age of Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer, and a country rocker who duetted with Sheryl Crow on Picture. He embraced metal rap during a short-lived reign of groups like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, and later he went all in on Southern rock, lifting riffs from Lynyrd Skynyrd and Warren Zevon and transplanting their melodies into summertime Michigan. Lately, he's been a sort of walking homage to the anthems of Seeger. He hasn't so much reinvented himself as proven he is to be totally malleable while maintaining a sense of authenticity. In Michigan, that's a central part of his appeal. He's the hometown celebrity who didn't leave, even as the economy tanked and the population plummeted statewide. Ritchie gives back to the country, performances for the troops overseas, on top of his donations to numerous military charities and home building efforts for wounded veterans, earned him the Patriot Award from Operation Troop Aid in 2014. He's similarly generous in the community. His foundation has given money to, among other groups, a local youth theater, a nature conservatory, a Detroit Historical Museum, and unlike other beloved local figures, he's highly accessible. Everyone seems to know somebody who met him at a bar or ran into him at a lake or got invited back to his house to hang out. A Rolling Stones piece.
Or saw him at a small party.
Or saw him at a house party. In 2015, a Rolling Stones piece detailed how Ritchie, while at his property in Alabama, invites over small-town neighbors he meets under various circumstances. He even took 3 of them to New York City as his security entourage so they could see the Big Apple for the first time.
Sweet.
In a region long divided along lines of race and class, Ritchie's equally at home among black Detroiters and the suburban whites of the surrounding counties. If Ritchie runs, the urgent question will be how he addresses his decades' worth of controversies. Republicans cringe knowing it could derail not just his campaign, but those of GOP rivals caught up in what could become a circus-like primary. It's a legit concern. I would see that as Kid Rock's weakness, says Wes Nakagiri, a Michigan Tea Party activist. In addition to his crass lyrics and offstage behavior, he's had run-ins with the law. February of 2005, arrested on charges he assaulted a DJ at a strip club. 2007, he had an early morning melee at an Atlanta Waffle House. Who hasn't been there? Yeah, and then it's like, well, what is he going to want to be called? Kid Rock or Bob Ritchie?
Senator Ritchie.
If Kid Rock's popularity owes to his ability to straddle cultural fault lines and give everyone a little bit of what they want, rap, rock, country, blues, and sometimes all the above, running for Senate might force him to choose sides in a way that endorsing Romney or Trump never did. Consider that his music video in 2001 for You Never Met a Motherfucker Quite Like Me, Ritchie opens a newspaper with an all-caps front-page headline, Kid Rock negotiates peace agreement. He then tosses the paper aside with a smirk on his face. Nobody should be laughing now. So,
yeah, it's for real. You know, if he wants to do it. The big question in my mind is, did Michigan voters blow their anti-establishment wad on Trump?
Yeah.
You know, and are they thinking more practically now?
I don't know how smart voters are, and I shouldn't say smart as people, but as voters that care about this stuff. But I would look and go, okay, I see what's going on with Washington, D.C., and why the all-out assault on Trump. I get it. I get why that's happening, and that's in the national spotlight every day. So to base your decision on Kid Rock on that, I don't know. It seems like nothing can get done with Trump because of all the distractions and people trying, even on his team, to derail him. Because he risks screwing up the establishment.
But that should be a lesson to people who are looking to put somebody in as a senator, that even the top executive can't get anything done by himself. Does our Michigan senator really matter? Like, do we really think Bob Ritchie's going to force legislation through?
Yeah.
In some meaningful way? You know, maybe he speaks for a population in a good way, and that's helpful. But do you really see him getting stuff done?
Well, does anybody really get stuff done?
No, they don't. But that's my point.
Yeah, but then why not Kid Rock? Why not take the highlighted glow that comes with having Senator Kid Rock? I mean, that dude. Every camera is on him in Senate meetings. That's newsworthy now. You know what I mean? Like when Kid Rock has a speech and goes, "I demand for my congregation, whatever." Like, people are going to listen to him, and the issues he brings up are then on CNN. They're not just on Local 7 covered at the end of a week.
That's a good point. The question will be whether people go, "Why not Kid Rock?" or "No, this is getting goofy."
Yeah,
you know, we got to bring this back.
Would you vote for
reel
him?
it in? I don't know. Ask me in 3 months, 6 months.
Would you be more interested in, like, seriously listening to where he is on the issues? Would that matter as much, or is it like, oh man, I just elected Kid Rock? Would you vote for Kid Rock?
Yeah, there's a chance I would. Yeah. You know what? I probably would. Why not?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck. They don't do anything anyway. Might as well have Kid Rock in there.
Yeah, I've got. I'm in a tough position because I'm a big fan of Bob Young. Who's the Republican guy who would probably win the primary.
Just another blue hair, white dude up there.
No, he's a black guy.
Oh,
he's a black guy, and he's not a politician. He's a judge.
That just made it tough.
That was tough. You got kicked on. Jay was holding that card, man. He at any point
you know what's funny?
Said Bob Young was black.
He's never said it.
Shit, now I feel racist.
Neither of us looked him up. He's mentioned him a few times. How has it not been come up that?
I don't see color. You mentioned white guy. I had to correct you. He's a black guy.
Did it bother you then when I got to that part in the story? They were like, he'd be going up against 3 nobodies in the primaries.
No, I mean,
Bob Young's not a nobody.
Politically, he is a nobody. But dude, I think he'd beat Stabenow. I think Young would beat Stabenow.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you throw Bob Ritchie in the mix, and shit, man, everything's up in the air.
Yeah.
You throw celebrity and fame and the interest in just seeing, what the hell, what can it hurt?
Why not?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I guess my thought on that, Jay, is I so despise the nature of, gotcha for something you did or said, or look at this tweet we found from 2012. Let's get him fired from his job. Like, all that shit. And for years and years and years, I've said, Pepsi, hold your ground. This will blow over, and it will be forgotten in 24 hours. Do not feed this monster by dismissing someone so willy-nilly over a tweet that maybe meant something else or whatever, or taken out of context. And the election of someone like Kid Rock, do all the opposition research you want. It doesn't matter. He's said it all. He's offended everybody. He swears like a sailor. He's got long hair. Everything about him is potentially offensive to someone. And you know what? The people said, all right, cool.
Well, Trump's election after the grab him by the pussy, I mean, speaks volumes. So I don't think there's...
He did say they let you, though.
Yeah, no, he arguably said that he sexually assaults women. And
they let you, though.
We didn't care. We voted anyway.
Dude, he called McCain, like, I prefer someone who didn't get captured. One of our war heroes. I know. It's hilarious. It's sad and hilarious.
So I guess my point of view before we move on is I felt like, I want to turn the political system on its head in the presidency and see what would happen, because I think there could be real change. But then to me, it's like U.S. Senate, what's that really going to change? So that incentive there isn't for me.
Yeah.
But I do agree it'd be interesting as shit.
Yeah. What a weird time we're in, man.
Indeed.
It's just so weird.
You thought Jesse the Body was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey, Mark Leibovitz, 16 years of institutional investment experience, including being a senior portfolio manager on a mutual fund, His background is in investments. The guy's a smart dude. It's not in sales. He's not going to try to slime ball sales you. Let him use his experience to build an investment plan for you. Call Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial at 248-626-2000. Ask for Mark. I'm going to say ask for Mark because he indicated to me the other day at Hamlin, someone actually called up and asked for Merck, and it confused the admin.
Oh,
She's
really?
like, do you go by Merck too? He's like, yeah, put him through.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
In the listener's defense, I have mentioned, call Merck. Ask for Merck.
Oh, yeah, like every time since he started.
Yeah.
This is on Mark. Mark has to, I can't even say Mark. It's hard to even say that when talking about Merck. Like, he just needs to go up there and just go, by the way, if anyone calls for Mark, I'm also known as Merck. I'm also known as Lebo.
Yeah.
I'm also known as Leibovitz. You know, like.
Well, and because there's often different admins up front.
Yeah.
I remember at the firm they'd have like little notes, like if so and so asked for, they'd have like a 3x5 card and highlighted. He needs to just have one of those, like highlighted. Merck equals Mark Leibovitz.
I think I called your law firm once and used your nickname.
Oh, really?
With it was probably your secretary or something. She was like, "What?" And I'm like,
What?
What?
Yeah, I
I'm
used to have people all the time.
Yeah, that's. Hold on. I'm looking for J Detroit Cast. Do you know that name? She doesn't know you by your high school nickname, so yeah.
And she'd be like,
yeah,
I have a person on the line.
He goes by.
Put him through.
He goes by Miguel. Anyway, how we doing?
Put Miguel through.
How we doing for email?
We do have some email. Before I get to that, I have a quick post.
For crying out loud.
Dude, this is beautiful. This is Montezuma Castle National Monument.
Wait.
This is in Arizona.
I was going to say, I think I've been there.
Yeah, this is.
Or wait, am I thinking of Montezuma's Revenge?
Yeah, you're thinking of the Revenge. It's not a castle, and Montezuma was never there. The 5-story, 20-room cliff dwelling. I've actually seen this in real life. Served as a high-rise apartment building for prehistoric Sinagua Indians over 600 years ago. Pretty cool. Look at that
Sinagua?
shit. Dude, over 600 years ago, and that shit's still standing in the side of that mountain. What?
Beth
What?
and I went to here and went through these. Like, walked up to them, and it's incredible,
Yeah,
dude.
it is.
It's incredible, like, the history of that.
Yeah, go see that if you can. Montezuma Castle.
Yeah, I wish I remembered more details, because we were there and, like, we did not the tour, but read all the pamphlets and stuff. And, yeah, it's pretty
It's
incredible.
too bad you didn't soak that in.
Yeah.
Barely
That
remembered
happens.
seeing it until I showed you the post.
You said that, I was like, oh,
Like,
yeah.
oh, shit.
Dude, I stood there.
Right there, in fact. Some post, says Dustin. Facts for the king, big words for the tard, and something for the hermit to complain about. It's hotter than balls here, 110 degrees. Enjoy these feather, not dot facts, Dustin. Thank you for writing in. Anybody who wants to send me posts, please do so. Radio for One Studios, P.O. Box 250-268, Franklin, Michigan 48025. And I'd like to just quickly cover one issue in email, if I might.
Okay. Yeah, because I got to grill the fire up.
Rebecca writes in. My brother and I went to the hot dog contest Sunday, and I told him on the way that my goal was to get a picture with Eric. I think you're all great, but Eric's my favorite because he's really funny and seems to have a good heart.
Sure.
You know what's funny? I'm interested
Well putty.
to where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you might know where it's going. Anyway, I was really nervous to meet him, but he was super nice, and I got my picture with him. But upon further review, I realized his fly is down. Look at this, dude. He's fucking walking around with his brong down. You show up at an event, you're embarrassing us at this point.
That chick's fucking hot, dude. Why would someone that looks as good as her want to meet
I don't know. And why
get
does
a
she think
picture
he's
with
so
him?
great either?
Yeah.
Well, she does.
And who calls him Eric?
Yeah, it is.
I don't even know who you were talking about. Like, Etard, fine.
I'm not,
Big E,
dude, don't
the
call
Big
me
E.
Eric and my friends. You're
I know,
right.
is she a new listener? Is she starting at like episode 76 or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's only listened to one. Was there one segment we did where you came off looking good, E? Have we done a segment where he came off looking good? Maybe that's all she's heard.
No, I can't think of one. I definitely can't think of one.
Didn't we fake a conversation where E drove the thing and got to speak nicely about his event or something?
Maybe.
Recently? Maybe she heard that.
Rebecca says, oh, you know what? I misspoke. Her name is Becky.
Becky.
Oh, my God, Becky.
Oh, my God.
I got her butt. I suppose it just reflects E's carefree attitude toward life. Thanks for the laughs, Becky. Thanks for coming out, Becky.
Yeah.
Glad you were there, and
Thanks
glad
for
you got to meet your hero, apparently.
Yeah.
She did, dude, she did seem really nervous.
Did you take advantage of that and go, so what are you doing after the contest?
If you put your hand right here.
You know, I'm single.
Cool. No, I did
No,
not.
he's with a chick. That was his problem.
Oh, yeah.
He brought her along a date who's not really a date.
Yeah.
It's like
He could have
chick
passed that
repellent.
You know what? Wait a minute. Whoa. We're gonna sit there and say that about me. We're having this hot dog contest. I was trying to get as many people out as I could, and and she didn't want to come out by herself. So to get another listener out, I drove a listener out to the hot dog contest.
If you ever need a ride to any of our events, just let him know. He'll come pick you up.
Exactly. I wanted to make to an event and you can't, I will drive you.
Son of a bitch. We'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right. Very good. Yeah. E, are you ready to eat?
Yes, actually, I'm
Today
quite
he's
hungry.
ready to eat hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yesterday, not so much.
I'll give a full accounting tomorrow as to how many dogs E ate today. Anyway, thanks for putting up with us today, and we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see everybody then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.